Welcome to Nifty's Targeted PDs seminar series. The purpose of these seminars is to provide a review of content, instructional activities, and Nifty best practices. These seminars are useful for teachers who have recently gone through Nifty University, as well as veteran teachers looking for content and teaching refreshers. On this webinar, we will discuss business ideas versus business opportunities. By viewing this seminar, you will be able to differentiate between business ideas and good business opportunities, understand how to evaluate business ideas, and finally, identify Nifty best practices and suggestions for teaching students without discouraging their thinking. Let's review Nifty's units of learning. Nifty divides our content into 4 units of learning: opportunity recognition and business structure, market research, financial information and operations, and finally, marketing and sales. In this seminar, we will look at the first unit of learning, opportunity recognition and business structure. This unit is our foundational unit and includes 5 chapters. If you look at the pacing guide for this unit, you'll note we cover Chapter 1 and then Chapter 6 to focus students on the business opportunity early on in the course. Differentiating a good business idea and opportunity is covered in Chapter 6, Section 2. In order to complete this unit or section of the business plan, students must be able to identify a business idea that fulfills a want or a need that is not being met by existing businesses, structure a business logically and appropriately, and explain the relationship between themselves, their business, and their community. In analyzing the business idea, we will focus on the first learning objective of the 3 listed. Although central to the business plan, the actual idea, we don't allocate enough time in our classrooms for this component and often rush to select an idea just to move on in the business planning process. We recommend spending the first full month of the program on idea generation and opportunity recognition, allowing students to get behind an idea they believe in and that they've analyzed. So what is the difference between an idea and an opportunity? An idea is defined as a business solution that has yet to be researched and analyzed. An opportunity, on the other hand, is a carefully researched business idea that can earn a profit. The key differentiation here is that 1, the opportunity is analyzed, and 2, that you can earn a profit. So here's another definition of opportunity: a need or want that can be met with a new concept or an idea. Let's analyze this opportunity that I present. What if I like socks? Does that make it an opportunity? Oftentimes our students focus on ideas that they like, that they believe people would want. Part of this process of analyzing an opportunity is getting students to step outside of themselves and look at what the market demands. Many Nifty students come up with ideas like my sock idea, which may actually be a great idea and even a great opportunity, but we need more work to understand if there really truly is a market. The first step in this is to help our students look outside of themselves and think about what other people want. Have them consider what problems exist in the larger community. The second is to come up with creative and innovative solutions for the problems that they see. The third is to refine these ideas by looking at how to turn them into opportunities. So they may come up with many different ideas in a brainstorm. How do they then ensure that there is the opportunity there? And then the final step is to evaluate the new idea opportunities that they come up with using critical thinking tools to come up with the best potential opportunities for their business plans. For this targeted seminar, we will focus on steps 3 and 4, refining and evaluating business opportunities. When students have different ideas, they need to think about how to refine these ideas and convert them into opportunities. We do this by using the opportunity screen. What makes the opportunity screen powerful, but also kind of difficult, is it requires students to do some market research and think about financials before the business planning process. This can seem daunting, but it can save students and entrepreneurs a lot of time and energy if they're willing to spend a little bit of time on the front end thinking about these things. So let's take a look at the 5 questions that students need to answer in the opportunity screen and use our example with socks. So the first question is, does the idea fill a need or a want that is not currently being met? Well, the generic idea of my wanting to sell socks doesn't really fill a need or a want that isn't currently being met. Because people can go buy socks wherever they want, but potentially they may get better quality. So I would need to stop at this point and revise my idea. I'm going to revise my idea by saying I'm going to create customized socks for school sports teams. Now I'm ready to move on to question 2. Will the idea work in the location or the way you plan to use it? So our product is socks, so we need to think about where it is we're going to sell it. My idea was to sell it at school to sports teams. So my answer to this question would be yes, and I could continue. What's important to note here is that students really do need to think about not just what they're doing, but also where they'd be selling and how they'd be selling. Question 3. Can you put the idea into action before the time period or the window of opportunity is lost? This question is key to the entire opportunity screen and is often rushed over. The concept of the opportunity screen is about how much time it will take for you to come up with a unique idea and take it to market. The thing about good ideas is that we all have them, so refining your ideas and getting them to market first before potential competition is important. If the answer is no to this question, students definitely have to revisit the idea. So in our sock example, I need to think about how my custom team socks are going to have something very special about them that is not easy to replicate or to copy. One thing to note here is competition of some form will inevitably enter the market. What we're trying to do is create a window of opportunity that's big enough for us to get into the market and create enough market share for our business. Step 4 is, do I have the resources and skills to create the business, or at least access somebody that can help me? Yes, I do. I'm going to produce them myself. I can sew. I have access to wholesalers, and I also have my mom who can help me sew as well. 5. Can you provide the product or service at a price that will attract customers but still earn a profit? This now goes back to the fact that we need to be thinking about and asking customers how much they'd be willing to spend on the socks. If in my mind I wanted to charge $20 for a pair of socks, but customers were only willing to spend $10, I need to make sure that the costs associated with producing those socks would be low enough that I'd have a good enough profit. So how does this look in the classroom? Once your students have 2 to 4 business ideas, have them identify potential customers, say maybe 10 to 20, and have them interview or survey their customers about the idea, the price that they're willing to pay, and have them also think about where they'd be willing to buy the product. Have students record these answers, and once they do, have them go back and consider how much they think it would cost, their best estimate, to produce their product or service. The opportunity screen process can take 2 to 4 class sessions and homework, but it's helpful in getting your students to refine their ideas, and more importantly, once your students select their business opportunities, to be able to really be articulate in terms of how they explain their business idea and how they solve a problem. The next level of evaluation for our ideas or business opportunities is analysis. There are 3 ways for us to analyze business opportunities. The first is the cost-benefit method, where you take a T-chart and list all of the costs and all the benefits for an opportunity. Generally, if the costs outweigh the benefits, an entrepreneur would reconsider or change the opportunity. Opportunity cost is about giving something up. So sometimes an opportunity isn't worth what you give up. Suppose I actually start the sock company where the business earns $20 an hour, but I could be paid part-time working at the library $25 an hour. My opportunity cost is $5, 25 minus 20. I could decide if it's worth to forego the extra $5 in the short term, but my opportunity cost would be that $5. Opportunity cost doesn't always have to do with money. It could also just be the time that you have. So I may decide to spend more time on my homework or spending time with my family and friends than actually running my business. If that opportunity cost in my mind outweighs the business, then I may choose to forego the business. And the last most common method is the SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. The SWOT analysis goes one level deeper than the opportunity screen because it looks at the internal and external aspects of the business. The S and the W, or the strengths and the weaknesses, look at the entrepreneur and the entrepreneurial team. Strengths can include product uniqueness, skills that the team has, special qualifications that they may have. Weaknesses may include skills they still need to develop, could also include difficult supplier relationships that aren't advantageous. The opportunities and the threats look at the overall market. Opportunities can include large partnerships within the actual market that allow for better pricing, trends that you can take advantage of. Threats could include new technologies that negatively affect your business or competitors. You should have your students select 2 of the business opportunities that they've already put through the opportunity screen and have them research additional market trends and the actual market itself to fill in and be specific around the opportunity and the threats. Spending time here again can be very important because this is going to ultimately affect the overall business plan and how the student talks about the opportunity. The SWOT analysis generally takes 1 to 2 class periods and some additional homework to refine the concepts. So the concept of idea versus opportunity is something that is easy to understand, and why you need to evaluate them as instructors is probably very easy to understand. But what does this look like in the classroom? Helping our students without discouraging them can be something that is really important. And particularly as NIFTY instructors, helping guide them to the answers themselves rather than telling them that their opportunity isn't a good opportunity or isn't a good idea is important as well. So here we present 2 scenarios for you. The first is Akash, who has a pretty good business opportunity that you think is good. But when he goes through the opportunity screening, he starts to get very discouraged about his business idea because nobody says that they will buy his product. Or want his. The second is Rebecca, and she loves her business idea, but it's a very simple idea about selling organic snacks and candy to students in school. You think it's a good idea, and she's started the business, but part of what you want to help her see is that it's important to still go through the evaluation process because she may find that the sustainability or the window of opportunity for her business is very small, and that people can easily enter the market. Take a minute and jot down 2 to 3 questions that you would use for each student to guide them and not discourage them from the opportunities that they have, but to help them refine these opportunities. So how many steps or questions did you come up with for each student? Here we've come up with 3 for each, but you could come up with many more, and it may look completely different. And that's fine. The purpose of this activity is to keep asking questions and get our students to evaluate their opportunities and refine them continually. So with Akash, what we would recommend is to identify how he's describing his business. He could potentially be presenting his business incorrectly and not explaining what it actually does. Step 2 is for him to identify who his customer is. Although you haven't taught students the concept of target market yet, that's okay. Students can generally understand who it is they think will buy their product. And step 3 is to provide examples of other uncommon business opportunities. Akash's business is an invention, and many inventions aren't supported initially by customers. Helping him understand how to identify who those customers are that he needs to talk to is important. So for Rebecca, we'd recommend walking through the opportunity screen with her, with an example or with her own business, and have her actually write down every single sort of answer to the 5 questions. Discuss how she could refine her business idea. And then at that point, have her conduct a SWOT analysis. You can do this with her or pair her up with another student and look at what the opportunities are for her business. Are there large opportunities for her to scale? Are there opportunities in her school market? And step 3, ask her how easy it is for someone else to start her business. Here you're getting her to think about the threats for the SWOT analysis. What's important here is that simple doesn't mean it can't be an opportunity or innovative. Rebecca's idea could be a really great idea. It's just about getting her to think about her idea and refine her idea to make it something that's more sustainable. You can use an activity like this with your students before they go through the opportunity and SWOT analysis so that they start to think more in a questioning mindset and apply some of those questioning to their own business ideas and potentially to peer business. Now that we've reviewed the difference between a good idea and an opportunity, let's look at the Nifty instructional flow and how it all fits together. We start with experiential activities like the product innovation game, community walkabout, and the opportunity recognition game. These activities get us to brainstorms and ideas. It's at this point that students can transition to evaluating these ideas and assessing if their ideas are real opportunities. Students do this by using opportunity screens and then SWOT analyses. After that, you can review and teach content from Chapter 6 using Nifty tools like the textbook, chapter PowerPoint, and workbook for practice. Next, guided instruction includes using case studies and business plan exemplars. Nifty provides 5 to 10 student examples to use in your classroom. These show students how different students describe their opportunities and solutions. To more formally assess learning, you can have students complete Performance Task 1A and reteach when needed. Finally, the ultimate demonstration of learning is your students' abilities to complete the opportunity sections of their business plans. When students learn the concepts of idea versus opportunity, they will be able to effectively present their business opportunities, describe the problems they are solving, and why their solutions are the best options. Here are some next steps to close out this session. We recommend you review Chapter 6 for more content review and examples. There's some great examples at the end of the chapter, student profiles around business opportunity. There's also some really fantastic activities, your business and your community, that you can utilize in your classroom as well. Review the Nifty PowerPoint on opportunity recognition. That's day 1, PowerPoint 8. There's a great resource called Crazy Business Ideas PowerPoint on Nifty Connect. This PowerPoint profiles about 10 businesses that were considered crazy business ideas but were wildly successful. This can help students in a couple of different ways. First, it can help get their creative juices flowing, thinking outside of the box and thinking more generally about ideas that nobody really thought about. And number 2, you can use these ideas as class models to evaluate. You can run them through the opportunity screen as well as SWOT analyses to get students more practice and a model to use when they get to their own business idea. Look through the experiential activities as well as the assessments for additional support. The experiential activities have great modifications and extension activities that you can do after each experiential activity. And the assessments are great because you can gauge where your students are and assess what you need to reteach before moving on to the different components of the business plan. Finally, and most importantly, you can ask your Nifty program staff for more support as needed. We want to thank you for your time. We hope you found this targeted PD session on idea versus opportunity useful, and hope that you'll share some of your best practices with teachers throughout the Nifty network on Nifty Connect and in your program offices.